Today is 4th of June, 4 p.m., 1 hour before the market closes. Market opened this morning with a gap and trade largely downwards. In the afternoon sessions, managed to actually recover and currently trading off its low, down 45.85092. Now, this happened after yesterday's bullish breakout, and the pullback is probably attributed to the weakness in the US market. So by and large, this is a huge consolidation pattern and actually broke out very nicely. Notice the high volume, and today pullback accompanied with low volume. So this is generally positive. Now I'd like to see eventually trade above this level of 5150. This is the immediate resistance. Support is actually at this pivot low here of 4978. Let's take a look at Nasdaq Composite as a proxy for the US markets, where it's experienced very nice run. And you will notice the convergence of the 1326 SMA, so it's indication of weakening momentum and right now experiencing a pullback. It is not unusual because this has been a very strong move. If you take a look at the weekly charts, it actually provides some clarity. Series of bull bar, and of course, these two bar here with high volume indicate some uncertainty. So it's not unusual to expect a pullback from here. Important thing is the quality of pullback. We prefer the pullbacks accompanied with low volume. That will be generally healthy. Now let's take a look at some of the stocks we have been discussing. Now most of the small cap stock has weakened. It's actually the banks that's driving the markets. First off, let's take a look at the tech stock. This is AAM. This is perhaps the strongest among them. Notice actually it's just hovering just below the resistance level. Low volume. This is generally nice. We like to see continue to trade sideways at low volume. Eventually look for a decisive break above this high here of 1068. If you compare that with DOMS, generally weakened quite significantly. Notice this is a weak bound, and it may well even roll over. So at this point in time, the sector itself is not that strong after experiencing a very strong run. Likewise for Frankens, the chart is a bit untidy, very deep retracement followed by a bounce, and today it didn't trade very well, so it doesn't really inspire confidence. It may well even roll down or at best just consolidate, trade sideways. Similarly, you see volatility increase very significantly for Valuetronic, even though we have a attempt at this level here, but eventually we retrace. So I'd like to see what happens. At this point in time, notice the crossing of the moving averages does indicate there is no trend characteristics. So this is perhaps a consolidation. Look for eventual break above this high here of 121. That's why weakness is observed at Aztec. Notice very severe sell down, and this is a weak bound. And this gap here provides some level of support. Breaking this support would not augur well for the stock, and that is at 895. Notice there was a test before, so this is an important level to watch. We may well take a shot at this if we break the support. PC Partner, yeah, very nice breakout, but unfortunately there is no follow through. Over here, very nice consolidation break on the upside, follow through, but almost immediately you see a wide range reversal bar. The only consolation is that the volume is not very high. Now today we have a pullback bar accompanied with low volume, but this itself is a deep retracement, and notice the huge daylight. So at best it may just consolidate, trade sideways, and we like to see a base being formed very much like this and look for an upside break. Some of the small cap stock we'll be discussing experience severe weakness. So this is OKP. The only stock probably is just holding on, but you notice last two sessions it started to actually move down below the 26 SMA. So this is something generally we do not like. So the bet is actually off. Bank United mentioned that this stock has weakened quite significantly. And in a recent forum posted, I mentioned about the support being broken, and right now we see a throwback, and this throwback is actually accompanied low volume except for this particular bar here. We'd like to observe this is what happened. At this point in time, there is a small deeper setup. Bar low here is at 144. Now, a small cap stock perhaps worth watching is AO Sin Q and M. Very nice run up. It broke this resistance, experiencing pullback. Notice the last 3 bar volume is actually low. This is a contraction setup. Bar high here is at 325. Ubitama weakened very significantly. Notice the strong downward move. At this point in time here, we have a contraction setup. Bar low here is 150. First Resources, a bit overextended on the downside, so more likely you'll consolidate, but at this point in time we do have a contraction setup for short. Bar low is 275. Now generally for short we'll prefer a big deeper setup. Olam stock has a nice break, experiencing a pullback now on low volume. This is a contraction setup. Bar high is 129. Now, mentioned that banks is the one that are driving the markets. So this is DBS. Notice a 1326 rising, diverging, very strong move, experiencing a pullback on low volume. This is a small deeper setup, 65.19. OCBC, very nice move. Again, pullback. Managed to close above this gap here, which is important. This is a small deeper setup, 24.69. Now, if you compare that with UOB, generally lackluster, even though there is some move recently, for the basic reason we have overhead resistance here.